Get everybody, including them, on there. Right. How scary would it be to find out you wake up that your infant's throwing up everywhere and the infant won't stop throwing up, only to have the local doctors, send your infant off to Children's Hospital and not really know what's going on, and that's what happened to my son. So we find out years later that he has allergy symptoms towards dairy and soy. Uh, Allergies and intolerances are a growing problem globally. You've even heard it with peanuts. Like allergic reactions to peanuts, usually deadly. Um, my wife and I usually prepare his foods, which are dairy and soy free, and we did that since he was 3 when we found out that he was allergic to them. I'm going to talk about how to make the mashed potatoes, which is his favorite, that is going to be dairy and soy free. But first, I'm going to go over the ingredients that he can have in his diet. Even though it's not really a dairy or soy issue, obviously you need a potato. There are options in milk. Since you can't have soy, there's coconut, almond, and rice. But because those other two milks are kind of gross in mashed potatoes, even unsweetened, we use rice milk because it's easier to hide. You can use canola oil mayo, because most mayos are soybean oil based. And some people might be a little too much for them. They don't like mayo on anything, so it's good. You can avoid that if you can. If you can sneak it in there, who cares? They won't know. You can use butter, because when making butter, you're separating the milk and the fat, and the milk proteins is what his immune system has a problem with. So milk protein is not as much in the butter, so that's okay. You can also chop up some onions and saute them, and any other ingredients you can think of, garlic, as long as it's soy free. Anyway, so now that we have the ingredients, we can move on to how to prepare. You want to dice up the potatoes into cubes, put them in a pot in boiling water on the stove, and have them boil so they can tender up and get mushy. While that's happening, you can prep by dicing up the onion or garlic if you have cloves of garlic. And then when the potatoes are done, you can check them for tenderness. If they're tender and mushy enough, you can drain them. I don't use a colander because I don't like to add a lot of dishes, so I just use the lid and drain them out that way. Now, after I'm done draining them, I put them on the counter or on the other burner that isn't being used. Turn down the other burner for being sauteing. Now, while I'm adding butter, or if you want to have mayo, you can add butter, as much up to your taste, and then adding rice milk, because rice milk is a little watery. You want to make sure you don't add too much right off the bat, otherwise it could become really liquidy and turn into potentially potato soup, which is a different dish, but then I guess you could work with that. Anywho, dealing with that, after you do that, you can also saute the onions and the garlic, or whatever that you have as far as veggies go. And then you mash up the potatoes, make sure they're nice and creamy to the consistency that you like. And then you can add in all the other ingredients. And any other ingredients, if you're going to use seasonings, I use salt and pepper. That usually seasons it up nicely. If you use any other seasonings like Johnny seasoning or any other stuff like that, you want to make sure that there's no soy in them, because soy can be in a lot of stuff. Check them on the back of the labels. They can carry a lot of soy products in them. Now that I've told you how to make Jack-friendly mashed potatoes, or dairy and soy-free mashed potatoes, you know how to make them. We need to be aware of the allergies and intolerances that people have, not just locally but globally as well. And usually if you have a dinner party or inviting someone over that has these issues, they usually bring their own dish. But if you want to be nice, you can make a mashed potato dish just like this.